Will studying classics or computer science close the skills gap? To discuss this, I'm joined by our news editor, Alec Russell, who studied classics at Oxford, and Khadim Shubber, who recently received his degree in physics from London's Imperial College and is one of a new crop of FT reporters with experience in coding. Alec, what's your view?
Well, I was thinking about this afternoon, Carola, and I was thinking that traditionally when this question has been asked, interviewers roll out some tweedy professor, probably with a tweedy sports jacket, who starts quoting Pliny or Horace or something.
But you didn't bring your tweed today, did you?
I didn't bring tweed, and I'm not going to quote Horace or Pliny. I'm going to quote the FT's one true Olympian, one Martin Wolf, the FT's chief economics commentator. So I asked,
a classic scholar.
And a classic scholar, classicist and economist. So I asked Martin this afternoon, I said, Martin, coding or classics? I quote, "What is the point of doing code? Computers will soon do that better." And then he reels off 5 points in defense of classics, ending with, "You learn to work really hard."
What would your response to, I guess, Martin Wolf be?
Well, yes, I think there's a mistake in assuming that coding simply means typing, lines of sort of complicated symbols on a computer. When you think about computer science, you have to take a much broader view. It's the sciences, it's creative, and of course, at some point, you have to sit down and spend many hours figuring out where the bug in your program is. So the applications that require that kind of thinking are actually extremely broad, and get to the question of our skills gap. The challenges that we face today are technological ones, or some of the important ones are technological, and so we need that sort of set of skills to tackle them.
What do you say about this democratization of coding, that if we don't get enough kids into coding, we really rob them of a chance of competing in the economy as we go forward? I
think that's right. I think we want to have society where people not only use products and are sort of passive consumers of products, but where they can shape them and where they have a sense of what's going on beneath the surface. We teach English to people so that they can they can understand language and they can use it to their own ends. If we don't give people the same skills, the same technological skills, they'll just be jabbing away at a tablet instead of controlling it or constructing sort of new technologies beyond the ones which are just given to them.
Alec, when you hire folks for the FT, what are you looking for now?
Well, we are not, I'm afraid, if my professor's out there, we are not looking solely for classists. In fact, we're probably not looking for classists, although one or two of them will creep in. We have to look for people, not exclusively, but we have to look for people who can code. The answer to this classical conundrum is it's neither one nor the other, but both. And in terms of the skills gap, which Khadim very correctly raised, surely coding has to be introduced into the curriculum somehow or another, and this then argues for a transformation of the British education system, whereby you can do both. You can both code and, say, do classics through your sort of educational career and not have to specialise as early as you do in the UK.
You made a fabulous point earlier on when we talked about the kind of experience and the kind of people you come across when you study classics versus coding. It's as much that as the actual skill. Talk a little bit about how important that will be for folks who aren't necessarily coding themselves, but perhaps will be in the boardrooms of tomorrow.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right that of course it's going to be a combination, but I think the reason why there needs to be an emphasis towards sort of computer science skills is because the people you have, say, making decisions in the boardroom typically don't come from a computer science background, but the challenges that they face could be, for example, cyber warfare, cyber attacks, that kind of thing. And while of course your person in the boardroom isn't going to be the one dealing with these issues, at the terminal, they need to be able to understand not only how the assailants potentially think and what cultures they come from, as in more philosophical cultures, I mean, but also what capabilities their own people have to, say, defend a bank from attack. And I think if you don't take an interest in computer science or make an attempt, then you don't gain that perspective. You don't breathe the same air as the sort of people on the front lines are breathing.
That
Very
is the
quickly?
most important
Yeah.
point, I think. I've spoken to a lot of senior business people who are belatedly realizing that they should long since have had people on their board who've been working in the technology departments, as they used to call them, throughout their career. And this is a disaster for a lot of companies. They've been failing hopelessly to combat cyber terrorism. But it's not just about cyber terrorism, it's just about understanding the potential of tech. I spoke to an American friend the other day who was advising a big UK bank, came over to give them a consultancy on just transforming their site to enable it to trade. And he said they were in a sort of dinosaur age. So answer, we need coding classicists.
Great answer. Thank you very much, gentlemen.